I guess I'll give this a chance to. Hello. Words? Test? Words? 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 Ah. I'll work on that later. Right now it's just a video of me. I'll get it set up. And I'm mostly just waiting for Aaron to show up. Because he's going to be the one that takes the notes that makes this all work. Hopefully. 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 Do I have notes? And here's the real question. Can I do any of this without the kitties ruining everything? I don't know. That's the camera, that's the computer, I don't know. We don't know, we're off the rails here. But I guess I'm just like talking. What up? Kid mom. Okay, I gotta figure out how to get the kitty off the computer. Because you view that as your spot, and that's not. And that's fair. So, kitty. Kitty. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. This is a cat. Say hello. What am I doing here? I gotta set things up. And I think one of the big things is gonna be I need a keyboard cover that's like cat proof or cat resistant, I suppose I should say. Boink. I guess for now, because it's gotta be, is this flush? I think that I will, oh, I know that. I have a thing. I have a thing. Anymore. Not do that. Christ almighty. Christ in space. I guess I should get this running. Oop. It takes a second. Oh, hey, what up? I figured out a solution, and I have this like old whiteboard that I don't use. And I just put it there. You were the one that was asking about the source code for this OpenMocap stuff. Is that right? Hodus damnus namnus. Is that you? Well, yeah. What up? Yeah, and I hope the answer was clear. It's coming soon, and that's the point of this. But like, it's not quite there yet, and I don't want to share it before. Like, I just want to do some internal testing and like get it running on people's computers before I make it open. But like, that's the plan. That's what we're doing. And today I'm going to be trying to like record another one of those data sets, which may or may not work. But this will be part. We're getting there. That's why we're in this part of this. Mostly waiting for Aaron to show up because he has promised to take notes as oh, hey, what up? Yes, Aaron. Okay, so welcome to this part of my house. This is going to be a little confusing because the computer is here, but the camera is there, because of how it is. It do be that way. And I'm currently running this, so the stream is running through the laptop because I'm going to be recording on this computer, and I want to keep it like, I don't want to be streaming and running the thing because I don't really know if or how much that matters, but I think it does matter. meaning that like I think part of the recording can get screwed up if there's like something, if something else is taxing the computer. And I think running a stream is like a pretty computationally taxing thing. Probably not for this computer, but like it's the simplification. So, right. So camera there, mic there, and we should be good to go. And there's wee kibbles abound everywhere, and they're going to cause problems because they're cats and that's all they do. Okay. All right, kibble. Okay. So let's do this. So we're just gonna do this simple over-the-shoulder number, which again, I feel like for me to really be able to run this Twitch stream, I have to give myself a lot of leeway to like produce subpar streams, because if I really try to optimize, it's just going to be a problem for me, so I'm just not going to do it. Well, it'll get better in the beginning, I guess is what I'm saying. So quick tour of the mocap setup. So the computer's there. It's relatively beefy. Big monitor, which is nice, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 webcams are all attached through their own special USB port. There is indeed a cat on the laptop. Other relevant factors going on here is that there is this nice big skylight in this part of the house, which turns out to be pretty important as just a source of light. I also have purchased. Can you do it? Hey, these very bright lights. These are like photographers' like spotlights. I don't know if this is necessary. I hope it's not. I mean, I think what the lights allow me to do is turn the exposure on the camera's very low way down, which is really important for minimizing motion blur. Because kind of the motion capture and your hands are blurry when you're doing stuff, you won't be able to do the 3D construction, because how could you specify where the camera is in the frame if it's blurred during the frame? So the lights allow you to let the exposure time grade go down, so the camera is only detecting light for a very brief interval. But because of that, the frame will be dark. So you need a lot of light. And it's a cloudy day. A lot of the other recordings were done on. Oh, really? You got this. Can you hear me? Is that better? Same words, blah, blah, blah. I just changed the. Let's see. Maybe I can change. What are you? How's that? Yeah, I think it was running. There were two. I think it was using the laptop's. Yeah, the laptop mic was running, in addition to like this mic. So I just turned that one all the way down. Great. So, anyways, as I was. Yeah, that's probably what it was. Oh, that's definitely what. Yeah, that's definitely what it was. So that's fixed now. Good feedback. Not good troubleshooting. So I got these lights. Just a lot of previous recordings, I just waited for a sunny day and just used the light of the sun. But I bought these lamps just so that I could sort of know that I could sort of push the question of like light a little down the road, because eventually to get this system working in like a lot of people's houses, like figuring out how to make it work, I don't know. Anyway, so I have these fancy bright lights. Hopefully not necessary for everybody to have those in their house, but if it is, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, as they say. I also have this camera here. It doesn't do anything yet, but it might someday. Actually, it's HOTUS? I know what it was. It's because I've never run Streamlabs on this computer before. There was some default stuff that happened, and one of the things was like turn on the mic, and I never bothered to fix it. But now I did, so should be good. So don't blame the cats. They're not the problem here. It's me. Okay. So procedure for recording a motion. So we're going to try to record a motion capture data set today. We're probably not going to get all the way through it, but just figured just give it a shot, just to get that sort of on record. And again, unfortunately, it's going to have to be kind of like an over-the-shoulder number, because I don't have the technical capacity to like. Anyways, okay, so I need to write stuff down. This is a thing I figured out about myself, and like I get kind of like especially when I'm like on a stream or like being observed, or there's a video on and there's some sort of constraint, and I have to do a bunch of things in a row, I get confused and I forget what it is. So so step one is record webcam, which actually I guess I need to write that down at all. So over here, so the first thing we do is open VS Code, and at the moment there's sort of two code bases that are used for this. One is, thank you, HOTUS. So right now there's two code bases that are being used for this. One is Aaron's code to do the webcam recording and record the videos and synchronize them and put them into a folder called synced videos that can be that will be sort of later fed into a different code base, which is the open mocap code base as it exists, which then takes those videos and kind of puts them together. There's still a number of steps in the process that are kind of manual at the moment, but we're going to smooth a lot of that out. That's a lot of the reason why I'm not making this open yet, is there's still a lot of steps in the pipeline that's like, take this folder and put it over here and change this thing in the code so it matches the thing. And like, these are easy-ish things to fix, but I don't want to set up, like, there's a lot of pipelines out there that are sort of like expecting the user to do all the path fiddling, and like, I just think that's not the model I want to operate on, I guess is what I'll say. If it gets to be like a couple weeks from now and it's still not working, then I can I'll change my thoughts. Okay. How do I do this? So I say okay, so where is the webcam code? Okay, let's start with, I use Anaconda for my environments. And wait, so I open this Anaconda. I open this Anaconda prompt. What are you doing, buddy? There we go. Put you a little closer. And again, we'll just kind of have to. I apologize for the jankiness of this setup, but it's for the world. Okay, so first thing I do is I set up the Conda activate open mocap. I'm not even sure if I have that on this computer. Or you exist? Yeah, you exist. Okay. Then I say code. Code. And then that opens VS Code in the Anaconda environment activated, I think. And then, but I'm in the open mocap now, so I need to open up the webcam stuff. So I say File, Open Folder. Give me a little circle. Give me a little circle. I want to make music happen. How do I make that? Music is, what's the word if music be the something life play on? Spotify. Let's play some royalty-free synthwave. Hey there.
Why are you running away? Thought that you wanted to stay.
Okay, y'all can probably barely hear that, but that's actually fine with me. Okay. Setup has detected that setup is currently running. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, git cracking repos. Aaron, last name, alternate mocap. Select folder. Okay. All right. So. Pilots, don't do that. Okay, Aaron, I'm realizing now that I'm actually not 100% sure which version of your code is on this computer. This stuff that says like rotate 90 equals CV rotate, that's the new stuff. Is that right? Outdated. Okay. I'm going to try to just pull, should say rotate 0 equals none. Oh, it does say that. It does. I think. Actually, I guess I can check GitHub here, run webcam, modified. Oh, sorry, I should say rotate 0 will always be none, the rest should be 0, 1, 2, respectively. Okay. I think I, at this point in my life, know how to pull from a GitHub repo sufficiently to do it live, as they say. So let's see. Ah, yeah, look at that. Look at that. I'm not up to date. So I will pull. Oh, it might want me to stash some things. Oof, pull fail. 2 file conflicts for, ugh. Oof. Should have thought about this, but I didn't. Take that one. Oh man. Accept. Conflict 1 of 1. Reset. Just save it. Save it. File conflict was found. Mark all resolved. Oh, and your git ignore. No URL for the submodule pulled successfully. Already up to date. And then why are there 2 of these? Oh. close. Okay, there's conflicts here. I want to, this is doing something that I don't understand. Oh, because I'm in the Git. There we go. Get out of here, you. Run webcam. Run webcam. Come on there. Okay, yeah, gotcha. Okay, I think I'm up to date now. Watch out, Kate. This is another cat. Get out of here, you. All right. Okay, so let's see. This should do the thing where it automatically detects my computer and sets everything appropriately. Camera inputs are that. Rotation input. If rotation input. Okay. Sorry, there was a cat shenanigan. I think it's gonna want to be, because like all these cameras are oriented by 90, but some of them are like, so if this is normal, some of them are 90 and some of them are going to be 270, and they're oriented like that because it's a short space. So humans are, taller than we are wide. So I have to remember which one's which, but I think, and the videos have to go into OpenPose oriented correctly. You can set flags to rotate them within OpenPose, but I've had issues with that before, so it's better to just save them in the correct way. Oh, hey Zika, how you doing? Yeah, I was thinking about that. Let's see here. So here we are on run mocap. Nice to see you again, Zika. We're recording a session, which is why we're in a weird new part of my house. And there are cats. There's like a chair in a place that there usually isn't a chair, and it provides the cats like access to like parts of the bookshelf that they can't usually access, and they're doing everything they can to take advantage of that. Okay, so this is that rotation input. The one I had before was 1414, which makes me think that I'm going to want 0202. So I'll try that. And then there are bools for setup. So Aaron, this is like this is a thing to put. This is eventually we're gonna have to figure this out. But I'm sort of starting to think as I work more with stuff like this, that when you have these kind of things where you have like, I wish I could be sharing my screen here, but I just think it's not a good idea for the later iterations. I guess I can do this. And is there zoom? Output toggle word wrap. That doesn't work. Sorry, cat shenanigans. Color themes settings. Text editor. There you go. Let's make that big. Controls number of lines in the area. Font size 24. There we go. You probably still can't read that, but at least you can see that there is text there. So Aaron, I think that in general, like as just for usability's sake, when one has these like tasks, like so task equals record means it's recording versus task equals detect equals detecting. I think it's better to put stuff like that at the top of the code, because right now you have a lot of nice comments that are in there, and like the things that need to be said are in there, but like this line 65 task equals detect or whatever, like you have to go to it, and you have to kind of know to look for it. And I think that if there are bools that are going to be setting what's up, I think it's better to have them up front. But I also like the format of this is going to change as it gets wrapped in with the rest of it. But we'll get that. Let's see what happens if I push run. Something's happening. How you doing? How you feeling? How we doing over here, guys? You on? Da-da. Yeah. Okay. I said setup. I should have said setup, right? Because that's telling me that things are opening and tells me which ones are which. I have 0, 1, 2, and 3 for the cameras. I said detect. I should have said setup. But it does run, so that's good. There we go. Okay, so some of them are correct, and I'm very bright. So right now these images are kind of washed out, which means that I can turn the exposure down, and I'm still seeing. So first of all, I'm very white, which is not news to anybody, but the image could be it's too bright, so which probably because I have so many lights on, but it means I can turn the exposure down from -6 to something like negative. I think I tend to go with -8. Also, so camera, where are we at? So cameras 3, which is that's camera 3, which that's correct. Camera 1 is upside down. Oh no, that's there we go. So it's always a challenge to get how's the audio, by the way? Are y'all hearing me okay? I hope so. Cool. So it's always a challenge to like point cameras in the right direction, especially when there's 4 of them. So I have been using, I have this kind of like these pictures over here, and I kind of orient the cameras that way, and trying to get trying to use basically so like if I point the camera here, that's the direction we're facing, and there's those pictures which the cameras need to be high enough to see, like, because I'm going to be recording a juggling data, and so the cameras need to be high, like they need to get my full body from start to finish, which you should immediately see why the cameras are oriented by 90 degrees, because when it's in landscape mode, you're not using all the pixels, and considering how small the distance between me and the camera is, I need to sort of use as much of that sensor space as I can. So I need to get all the way under my feet. I also need to capture the calibration shape, which we'll talk about in a second, and also need to be able to sort of get enough so I can kind of record. I mean, I can keep the juggling balls pretty low. When I start doing the juggling clubs, that'll be harder, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So when I'm pointing the cameras, basically what I do is for each camera, and I because I have 4, I have to figure out which one's which, so I just usually just like put my hand in front until I figure out which one it is. So like this is camera 2, because I can tell, and and then I sort of orient them so that the top of the, so it captures from the top of these pictures down to the floor, with getting enough of the carpet that I'll be able to put the calibration mat down. And then I personally will stand my real human body right at the middle of those things, right in front of that outlet, because I know that will put me centered on those screens. But cameras. So okay, camera 1 is correct. Cameras. I hate zero indexed coding languages because it sets up a conflict between the index and the number. So camera 0, which is the first camera, which is camera 1, but anyway, so camera 0 is oriented correctly. Camera 1 is upside down. Camera 2 is upside down. And camera 3 is oriented correctly. So cam inputs, so shit, what did I say? The middle two were backwards. So let's try. You know what I find myself doing is like when I'm trying to, like, so right now I'm trying to remember, like, keep like 0, 1, 2, like a small number of things in my head. I find that like I make like some like weird shape with my hand while I'm holding, like, because things like that, they evaporate the second you let go of them. No, I think it's just, this is mostly just me complaining because I'm used to MATLAB and I'm getting used to Python. I think it's a philosophical thing about whether or not a language uses 0 and like is the first element of an array 0 or 1, and I think a lot of like real programming languages always use 0. Python uses 0, but I don't like it because it sets up a conflict in one's head between indexing and counting. So like if I'm counting cameras, I count 1, 2, 3, 4. But if I'm indexing into a camera array, I'm forced to do 0, 1, 2, 3. So I can, in my head, just say that the first camera is camera 0, but then it puts up that conflict. And if you would just like, so MATLAB indexes start at 1, so the index and the count are the same thing. But like, I don't know. So, but I think you should keep it 0, 1, 2, 3 because that's at least consistent with the code. I'm mostly just sort of complaining that things that are new to me are not the same way I learned on them. But let's see. Oop. Oop, 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 oop. No, I'm still in debug mode. Oh, I also meant to set the exposure down. Yeah, it's like, oh, well, you know, your computer starts at 0, and it's like, I'm not a computer, and your computer can't read Python code anyway. So it's just like an interesting thing, and I think for a lot of programmers, like 0 indexing makes more sense because I think like that's how like the early computers and like the first programming languages use that. What are you doing? Not that. But come on, buddy. What are you doing? You can do it. You can do it. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Are we running? Where are we? What's happening? What are we doing? Where's these? What's going on? Come on. Come on. Something wrong? It thinks it's debugging. I think I did something stupid. First of all, I'm going to change the exposure down before I forget. Try to get to -8. Task is set up. Should work. Ah, there we go. Sup, cameras. Something's weird. Oh no, there you go. Hey, look at that. What do you know? There we all are. Okay. So the orientation is all correct, which is good. The field of view looks different, but we'll see. Close. Am I doing something wrong here? I think the escape key wasn't, like the escape key isn't closing it down. Q? Ah. Oh, I see what happens. You can do it individually. Again, that's the Q works. However, that is different from the record, where the record you push escape. I guess that closes everything. So again, it's like these are little fiddly things, but like you know, they should, like, you see what I'm saying. This is going to be the kind of thing that, like, I think that as we're sort of scaling this out, what I'm going to ask people to do as they're getting things set up is like, there's a term for it in like HCI and like user interface design, is like when you encounter something that's not what you expected, like you have to like keep a note. So like there, because I mostly used the record function, I was pushing escape expecting it to work, and then in this part of the function it's Q. So like that's just a thing that like my that was hard for my, it wasn't hard, but like it was a, I had expected something to happen and something else happened instead. Which again, like I think also like you have very nice comments, but like people are bad at reading comments, including me. Okay, so that should be good. It was a little dark. I'll change this to 7 because I think 7 should be sufficient for the color. However, I think I'm curious. I'm a little concerned that the field of, because if you set the resolution of the cameras to something that they don't like, you don't get the full field of view. I don't really understand that, but we'll see. I'll be able to tell pretty quickly because I won't be able to get the whole space that I know that I've gotten in the past. Record. Yeah, we have, yeah, okay. Save. Ooh. Save, go. Just have to go. That was my fault. I did something weird. Okay. Okay. Now go. Good job. Feels like it's taking longer than it should. Because usually it should go by now. Oh. Ah, hello, friendos. Yeah, it's saying width 640, height 480, which is not what I specified. So you can see how the cameras are like coming in a little square. Like the ones, I think that's 4x3, but I've never really been, I just say these numbers. But they're showing is 640 by 480. But I'm pretty sure I have it specified for a different number. I always break your code. That's all I do. Yeah, because the res width, red height. Let's see how that worked. Someone's split dipping me. Discord. Ah. Okay. So my resolutions are set strange. It's like 896 by 504, which I've recorded on before. Those numbers are chosen because they are 16:9 ratio. They're also divisible by 16, which matters for some things. Not really anything we're using here, but I've encountered there's other places where like it's helpful to have the resolutions be divisible by 16 for some reason. For ways that convolutional analyses works, sometimes they just like that. But somehow it wasn't really making it in, so I'm curious. I don't even see 640. Yeah, 640 is not even present in the code anywhere. I think Trent just sent me some messages saying that like he got something working, so that's good. But I didn't get a chance to look at it too closely. Why was it coming in at 640? Like, this is... Oh, nice. Okay, so this is my code for an OpenCV thing. If you like, doesn't like the resolution, it defaults to the nearest available one. Okay. But I've recorded with those before. I'm going to turn off your rotation stuff for just now and just see if that helps. Oh no, I have to make it empty. It's going to crash. Yeah, I know that you're right. But I have recorded, like the previous mocap stuff I recorded were recorded with that 896 by 504 resolution. So I know that these are okay with that number. So the only thing I can say is it might have something to do with some weirdness with the rotation-y stuff, but which doesn't make sense because it shouldn't matter. I can't remember if I had the... Yeah, it's still coming 640. Oh, come on, kitty. Yeah. That was I broke a port, not a port, but I broke an adapter just before we started the stream. So I got it kind of working, but it was fragile. So let me see if I can get this back up and running. If not, we can just switch to the laptop camera. Honestly, I'd be happier for it. There we go. And we're back. Okay. .640 by 480, 16 by 9, or is that a 4 by 3? Yay! Oh, hey Layla, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Thanks for popping by. I'm trying to record some videos right now, but it's as per usual. It is being coprophagus, which is a fancy word that means You can look it up. Try changing the frame rate. If that matters. Shouldn't matter. Oh, nope. 256 is probably too many frames per second. That is not where we are at right now. Oh, you. Yeah, that's third floor, man. I have like 2 of these. I have another one in my kitchen over there. Kind of. This skylight's actually a part of the research process because it's such a nice, like, it's light, and the sun during the afternoon is like right there, so that provides light. But I also have these very bright lights for cloudy late afternoon days like this one. Line 87, eh? Don't trust it. Okay. No. Hush. Okay, line 87? 87 in here, or 87 probably in the webcam code? You can try commenting and uncommenting line 88. That's in webcam, I'm guessing. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Let me just throw a breakpoint there, and then I will. Okay, frame. Frame is 640 by 480. Res width 504. Frame size equals frame, but it's already coming in. Width. Res height, res width. Set. Oh, God damn it. Okay. It's there, but unfortunately it is like I said, so because it's a Mac, it has to be like a USB-C. So I have a USB to USB-C adapter, and like right before I started the stream, like the computer like tipped over on its side and broke the adapter, and I managed to like jam it back together, but it's fragile, and it's also attached to like a wire with like it's pretty much designed. It's like set up as like a cat bait trap right now. So she keeps pulling on it, and then like it's fine. Huh? Frame sized is the right shape, but it's not helping with the field of view issue, which I don't understand why that matters, because I've done this before. Okay. Default is 640 by 480. I'm chilly. I'll be right back. So, hello. What the fuck? What's your deal? What's your deal, buddy? This is the like this was working. Why does it not work anymore? Try 1280 by 720, which it won't like 1280 by 720, but it's at least a normal number. Like it'll like 1280 by 720 is too much. It's too big a data, and it leads to frame drops, I think, at least I recall. But also like. Just goes to show how much I know this isn't working like it's supposed to. Yeah. See, so that's working. And if you'll notice, so look at this one. Like it can see all the way from the green ball up to the top of those pictures. Whereas in the 640 by 480 version, it was just seeing like a cropped version of that. However, I guess we can see, but I think it's still too bright. Also, this red on orange number is just not doing anything for me, but but that's fine. It looked like it looked very autumnal. Let's see if we can record at that rate. I think it'll have a lot of frame drops if I do that. But that did solve that field of view issue, which I don't understand that either. But it's important because like particularly for this setup, like I need every micrometer because like the camera's sensor has a shape, and that affects like the field of view and the resolution that it wants. And I think. Is 640 by 480? That's 4 by 3? I always forget. $640 by 480 is 133. 1820 by. Oop. Is 177. Yeah, so 640 by 480 is 1.333. 640 over 180. Wait, 640 over 480 is 1.333. 1920 by 1080 is 1.777. So the aspect ratio is different. And 16 by 9 is like longer. Like 640 by 480 is closer to it's squatter, it's closer to a square. Whereas 16 by 9, so 640 by 480 is 4 by 3, which is also 1.333. It's sort of more squat of a shape. What happens if you have a round camera set up 2 front, 2 back? So in the earlier days, we tried a 4 camera just in a ring, and it didn't work because the what was said by it recorded just fine at 10 frames per second. It's not ideal. I'm gonna try this again. So when I tried to do 4 cameras in a circle, it didn't work. And the report from the student that was working on it, I'll try that in a second, was that the angle between the cameras was too large. With 4 cameras in a circle, it's like 90 degrees between each camera. And I think that affects the reconstruction negatively. So, but I didn't really test it. So right now I'm just focusing on kind of like the easiest case, which is like 4 cameras in like an arc. So they're not separated by that much distance, which I think matters. So eventually, like an arena kind of setting with like it's kind of cameras in a circle, like a sort of standard mocap lab, is going to be important. But I'm thinking what we will probably discover as we push a little closer, push a little farther into that, is that there's some like the cameras have to be like some minimum separation. So it might be that to get a circle you need 8 cameras, or who knows? I don't know. Well, maybe it depends. We'll have to see. Like so, we tried 4 in a circle, and the student reported that it didn't work. But we didn't really do much debugging past that. So right now it's just sort of like, it's just kind of like the simple case of like 4 cameras pointing in the same direction. Okay. I'm gonna do the crazy person thing and just try the same thing I already did, just to verify that it doesn't work. Oh, gracious. Come on. You can do it, computer box. I believe in you. Huh? Now it works. Someone explain that. Oh, God. I gotta plug in my laptop. So now, with the same exact setup and the same input, it is getting the proper field of view. I don't understand that. Aaron, you reported at one point there seemed to be some weird memory on the cameras, like it would remember the previous settings in some way. I don't know. But we're recording right now at 896 by 504, and it's got the right 16:9 ratio, and that's what we need. Yeah, so just another weird bug that I don't know how to reproduce. But so what just happened was it was set at 896 by 504. I tried to record. It defaulted to 640 by 480, so I changed it to 1280 by 720. It had the right aspect ratio, but then it couldn't handle the frame rates were low. So I switched it back to 896 by 504, and now it's working. Programming. Oh, Christ. Okay. But anyways, it doesn't matter. So that's working now. So I'm gonna let it run for a little while longer, just so I can see the outputs of it. Everybody say hi to Pooh. There you go. Say hi, Pooh. You can track those eyes. I mean, honestly, these are the kinds of problems that this is hardware. This is the problem of hardware. We are asking a computer to interface with a physical thing that measures the real world, and that's hard. That's why printers will always be bad, is because it's just a hard thing for computers to do. But anyways, so we'll figure it out. Yeah. We'll figure it out. Okay, looks pretty good. So looking at these outputs. So for the uninitiated, this is showing the timestamps recorded from the 4 cameras, and this is showing the frame. So there's 0 to 3,000 frames at 30 frames per second was the target, and you can see down here so basically there was a blip that happened right here, and all the cameras seemed to drop a frame or two, and it lasted for like 3 or 4 seconds. But other than that, they're recording at a consistent rate. So the slope of this line is, except for those jumps, is consistent. This one, I, I I don't love this plot. This one could use a little bit of work. This one's okay. I would actually say we might want to squeeze the bin sizes down a bit, but this does the job well enough. Because what this says is the histogram of the frame durations is peaked around 30, which is what we want. This is like if and this might actually be a thing to do, Aaron, is when you plot this, rather than doing the default matplotlib, which is just a line, do like a lines connected dots, because that will tell us how long these are. Because I'm guessing that these peaks are just 1 frame long. So this actually doesn't bother me. This looks fine to me. I don't love it, but it's not a huge problem. Okay. I just freeze. Oh, I guess I'm back. Yeah, so Great Ape Expectations, great name. If I, yeah, each camera is its own thread. Yeah, so basically, in order to keep because cameras drop frames, it's just the thing that cameras do. Oh, hey Sean. Oh, regular Sean. How you doing, Sean? There's nothing happening. We're trying to keep each camera is being recorded on an independent thread. And we're trying to keep the processing in each thread as minimum as possible to lower to reduce frame drops. So yes, and so with this output is saying that it's reasonably good, and I'm not going to bother making these videos because I'm going to take a recording instead. Oh, quit. Okay. Yeah. Oh, by the way, it throws an error when I select quit. It's currently set at 30 frames per second, which is just standard for these cameras. But the code is being written in a way that if you were to swap these like cheapo $20 webcams out with fancier cameras, the frame rate shouldn't be the frame rate shouldn't really matter for the reconstruction. As long as the frames are kind of synchronized across the cameras, the reconstruction should, it can happen at whatever rate it needs to. The main bottleneck would be making sure that the cameras can if these were like 200 FPS cameras, you'd have to like be confident that the hardware of the computer can like record at that speed, which is a problem that's a problem for future humans to solve. Today we're just worrying about these cheap cases. What are they doing? Okay, I'm going to do an actual recording now, which means interesting. Cool. That's good to know. Writing is definitely is a whole vibe for sure, and like, cool. I'm gonna put that one. Aaron, note that. Yeah. By the way, Aaron and Trent, Great Expectations is Sean, otherwise known as, I won't say your full name, but he was another panda that worked with me with Brett. Oh, thanks, Layla. And okay, I'm gonna move this back a little bit farther so we can kind of see more of what's happening. Sean Barton. That's his real name. Get him. Steal his identity. Okay, let me get this camera where it needs to be. Alright. Let's move this back even more. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not like I was doing anything close anywhere. Here's your skeleton. Look at this skeleton. Oh, God. I'm an adult, I promise. Okay, I'm going to take off this. So, now that we have the cameras, like, I guess, recording, they need to be oriented correctly. I guess I'll bring this back here for that. So, no, this rug. This is like the IKEA rug. It's like $50. looks like a nice, totally nice rug, but it's great cheap. I love it. Okay, so I have like moved the camera since the last time I played with this. So I guess I'll try to put this here so you can see that, and we'll do one at a time, right? So starting from this one. Which camera is that? I guess we'll do. Okay, so that one's that one. So this camera is pretty good, but it's this is not quite centered, and I think this can. I guess I should probably put the calibration thing down. All right. So this is my completely over-engineered calibration plank. This is important for how it do be, how it need to be to work. All right. So basically, I think I'll try to do I'll do like a wobble board juggling recording because that's fun, and I can't really do it. So okay, so looking at this camera here, which is this camera, it's actually looking pretty good, but I'm going to move it. So this, I can probably, again, I kind of orient it based off of these just block of pictures. So I'm going to move it just a little bit. And that should be good. Because again, it needs to have the calibration grid in view, and then it needs to be high enough that it's going to catch the peak of the balls as I throw them, and other than that should be fine. I'll take this. You ever tried to charge 7 GoPros at once? Because I have. I do it all the time. Oh, good Lord. Okay. So, all right. So this camera's good. This camera is way too tall. Way too high, so I can go down there. That should be good. This camera is should be good, and that camera is all off. This camera's always the weird one. The very oblique angles always makes things weird. How does that look? I don't like having the calibration grid sort of close to the edge because I feel like that leads to errors when you're trying to do the detection. That's kind of superstition on my part, but because I've never like confirmed that. Also, the arms. I'm not super stoked about my camera mounting method. It does the job, and it's kind of it does the job. Is what I'll say, but because my main currency here is distance, because it's such a short distance from the cameras to the wall. I was trying to. That was weird. That like even being able to push the cameras back like 6 more inches gives me like more field of view because of how camera frustums work. To your question, Layla, in a manner of speaking, not. Actually, I guess the answer would be no-ish. So the question is like, do you need to calibrate it like Vicon? And this, the grid. I guess I can just use these cameras. This grid is kind of doing a lot of the work that the calibration procedure in Vicon would do. This is allowing the cameras to calibrate relative to each other. It's kind of, this is mostly like the L frame that you probably use. But then there's the other step with like the wand that you swing around, which I've never been fully clear on what that is doing. But for this phase where it's just 4 cameras, this is sufficient. There might be a future step because there might be distortions within the 3D reconstructed space that we'll have to test for. Aaron, honestly, you'll probably be doing that. And the way to do that is just calibrate the cameras, take another grid like this and kind of move it through the space and see if it maintains like the geometric like space, like when you reconstruct. So, 1 second. So like, if I were to do a recording and then like have one of these and this like, this is actually the exact same shape, so it wouldn't work. But if these were different markers, I could move this through the capture volume and see if they maintain the grid pattern that they are throughout the space. I'm guessing that they won't, and that there will be distortions in the field that can be corrected either through something or something else. But short answer is I don't know. Z is just, if you know X and Y, you can get Z by just doing the cross product. And because it's a 2-dimensional shape, it's anyways. Oh, hey, Kylie. Okay. Yeah, the monitor setup is nice because it's like the space is so constrained here that like I don't have space for like multi monitors, but I do have space for one big monitor. So okay, so we've been recording this whole time. Let's see how that handles. How this handles that. 14,000 frames. You can do it, buddy. I believe in you. These are low. What's up, buddy? Okay. So So I don't know. That was weird. I'll answer your question in a second, Sean. Um, Aaron, I wonder. It's taking kind of a long time to do this thing before popping up the histogram, which I'm wondering if there might be a way to do like the checks and to basically to generate that like debug plot before doing any like meaningful processing, because this is 14,000 frames, which is a lot for a video, but for like just like the CSVs of the timestamps, it shouldn't be that much. So I'm wondering if you could like change some of the orders and just check the timestamps that come off of each frame, so that like, because like right now I'm waiting for it to churn through like a lot of data before I can see the output and like whether or not like the frame rates were consistent. So that might be another thing to look at. Oh man, look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Doing it, killing it. So those are 4 lines for each camera. That's the timestamps for each one. Each one is like linear. There's no frame jumps to note. This looks bad. It doesn't look bad, but like this is actually a problem considering you're not setting your y-axes, which is kind of what you kind of need. That this actually kind of, I think, is the right move, because in the previous one where there was like really big frame drops, you kind of show that way. But this one is like a lot of fluctuations right around 0.03 to 0.05, which is so the. Can I zoom in on this? No, I don't. Anyways, so 0.033 is where it should be because it's 30 frames per second. But cameras they fluctuate. That's just what happens. That's what true timestamps look like. And cameras in particular have some cycle. I think that's like p frames, I frames. I don't know. But then this is showing that the histogram of the frame durations per second is peaking right at 30 frames per second, which is what we want. And also the actual frame interval is peaking right around 0.3-ish, which again is exactly what we want. So that was a perfect recording in terms of frame drops. It's a shame that I didn't do anything interesting. So the question of the so does color matter for the recording? I don't know, because I'm not sure. I think so. That's a question for the 2D markerless motion capture systems, which at the moment I'm using a combination of OpenPose and Deep Lab Cut, and I'm not sure if those guys use color. A lot of computer vision like applications, the first thing they do is they convert to grayscale because it's a lower dimensional problem at that point. I'm guessing that I'm guessing that they do use the color channels to do their tracking, meaning that each frame, instead of being a rectangle of numbers, is 3 rectangles of numbers, one for red, one for green, one for blue. I'm guessing that both OpenPose and Deep Lab Cut use color to do their tracking, which would mean that the color would matter. However, it would probably also work on black and white. Haven't tested it. Leg end. That's me. I'm a leg end. Hi, Mycon. Nice to see you again. Okay. We're doing recordings. So I think we're ready to do an actual recording. The question is, do I have it in me to... Okay. I said I would. I said I would do Word. I'll plan on doing... Oh yeah, you want to see the view out my... Look at that's my view. Whee. It's a good view. That's my dance for you, Sean. But yeah, Aaron, when I push quit, it throws an error. Basically saying it's like, exception occurs, system exit, quitting program, something. It's not a problem because I am done, but like, presumably the ability to quit is something that the code should be able to accept. Okay, I'll do... Oh, Winston. Okay. No, I think in the spirit of being kind to myself, I'll do regular juggling. I won't do wobble word juggling because I don't want to die on the Twitch stream. um, okay. So now we're all set up. We can actually do a recording. It only took an hour and a half. So that I could change a number from one thing back to another and it could work. So now what I'm going to do, I'll move the camera back so you can get a better picture of what's happening. And then I'll start the recording. At the moment, the code just pulls the first frame of the video to do the reconstruction. So it just takes the first frame and it detects the Charuco board and then does the reconstruction off of that. That is a cat litter thing. Good eye. That is the litter robot. And it does a great job. It's great. I have 2 robots in my house. I have a poop robot for cat poop, and I have a vacuum for cat hair. And once I get like an automatic like feeder, then I'll just have a fleet of robots that handle my cats for me, and it's great. But yeah, so you'll see me. I have to like hide under the desk to push start, because if I'm in the first frame, I'm probably going to be blocking the board, and it won't work. So that'll be a thing. So far, the same number of cats that have gone into it have come out, and so the total number of cats in the apartment has remained 2. But you never really know. I don't keep track of it, so it's possible that it's just getting replaced with identical cats. How would I ever know? So I'll push record. I'll get the identical ball out of the screen. I bought these balls. Yes, I bought these balls a while ago, thinking like red or pink, orange, and green would be like very distinguishable colors. But what I discovered is actually like the pink and the orange are actually quite similar to each other, like visually, and the Deep Lab Cut tracker does a decent enough job. But I think at some point I'm gonna replace the pink ball with this red ball, to keep them just so that they're more like visually distinguishable. We'll see, which I guess, Sean, to answer your question, I guess that does mean color does matter, because otherwise it would not be able to distinguish these from each other. I mean, maybe it could, but for now I'm going to use, because I already have a trained network for looking for these balls. I'll just use these ones, even though they're not really ideal. I'm also wondering, because this will be my first recording I did at night with these bright lights on, and I can see in this camera that the colors are different from daylight, and in general, like our eyes are so good at adapting to changes in luminance that we tend not to notice you could be in a well lit room in the evening and think it's bright, but like if you actually got a lumen measure out, it's not. Sunlight is just I think it's literally like 6 orders of magnitude brighter than like a brightly lit room at night. If you want evidence of that, try to read your cell phone outside. Okay. That's the recording dance. So here's what we'll do. I will move the camera back so you guys can get a better view. I will there's ferns. Not ferns, but yes, plantos for sure. Move the camera back, and then I just pretty much push record, and then I'll just juggle for a bit, and then take it from there. And then we might not get all that much farther than that today, because it's been a long day. But we'll see how it goes. Okay. Ready, team? Are you ready for the first live streamed recording session of the nascent open mocap system that we are developing as a free open source project to do motion capture for cameras and stuff. Okay, this is good. All right, that'll do. Hooray! Okay. Okay. No, that wasn't part of the process. That is actually part of the process. So, like I said, part of this process is like hiding from the cameras, and because it's really helpful, I think, to just practice thinking about a camera as a cone. The term is technically a frustum, which is a whatever thing. But like, if you think of each of these cameras as as if it was just a big field of view, and the point of that sort of is like that pyramid is the nodal point of the lens, and then it sort of expands outwards and then covers a space. So this area here that I'm going to be standing in, I'm in the overlap of the frustums, the fields of view of these four cameras. And so if you imagine this space with those four overlapping pyramids on it, it's pretty full in that way. So for me to hide from the cameras in order to start the recording without being in the way of the field of view, I will duck sneakily under this table. Wait, where you go? Oh, okay, now I hide. Don't, shh, don't tell the cameras that I'm here. They have to like check that it's running. Okay, that should work. Hello. I don't know how to juggle better than that. That doesn't count. Don't, you didn't see that. That didn't happen. Never let them, never show the world your B-reel. It's terrible advice. Show Twitch your B-reel. Don't show Twitter your B-reel. Actually, Twitter, you can show Twitter your B-reel too. Do whatever you want. The world has no rules. Okay. Once again, I hide. Yeah, so this is one of those things. It's like there's a lot of ways to solve this problem, but like it's not a high priority. So it's easiest to just hide under the thing and then sort of put a tag on it. The smarter thing to do is actually to not use the first frame of the recording to do the reconstruction, and to like look at the first just take the first chunk of frames, or even look at just find the frames where the matching. There's a lot of solutions to this problem, but we'll get there. Micon, maybe once this becomes an open source endeavor, you can work on the delay timer, because the delay start timer would also be the smart move. Just push the button. Anyways, hide, John. I almost blocked that one with my head. Okay, now we're here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I get bored so quickly juggling. Oh, there you go. Done. We did it. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of so we got that recording. So let's see where we get with that. So okay, this is a good good example. So first of all, it looks good, right? So again, all 4 cameras, nice straight lines, not a lot of no noticeable frame drops. So we're happy about that. The top right this is actually, so it's interesting. So the top right actually probably looks exactly like the previous one, but the previous one was such a long recording. This is only 600 frames. So what is that, like 20 seconds? The other one was 14,000 frames being plotted in the same space. So it has 1 frame drop here. Camera 2 dropped a frame right at the end. You can see that here, just barely. You can see that it's dropped a frame. Who knows why? But that's again, it was actually not a long frame drop. Frame duration seconds here. I don't know if you can see that. This is 0.35. Actually, that's pretty long. So it dropped a frame at the end, but that's not a problem for us. And because it dropped a frame, it changed the y-axis to be from 0 to 0.35 instead of the last one, which was like 0.0 to like 0.06 or something like that. And you can see here, like, this is something I've come to recognize, like, cameras do this. And unfortunately, I don't think I can zoom in on this plot, but cameras have this pattern where it's like, the frame duration goes like low, low, and it spikes, and low, low, and then it spikes, and low, low, and then it spikes. And I think that has to do with like P frames and I frames, which I do not understand what those are. But this looks like a good clean recording. Now you may ask the question, does this like repeated sort of spiking pattern, is that going to affect the reconstruction stuff later? And the answer is yeah, it almost certainly will. But also again, like, that's a we'll figure that out later. Aaron's code, I don't know how it interacts with this. It depends on how he's doing stuff. Yes, Mycon, I think you are exactly correct. I think it has to do with the keyframes in the codec. And I think that is the same thing as P frames and I frames. But I just don't understand. Like, this is getting to a deep level of the video, like encoding, like the hardware, software, or whatever that I don't fully understand. But Mycon, these are all good suggestions. Which again, I'm kind of at this point in the process, I'm just going to sweep that under the rug. But this looks good, so I'm going to say proceed. Looks like there was a little bit of camera 3 had a little bit of needed like 7 frames worth of love, but I think that'll be good. Proceed. Yeah, Mycon, you are putting more specifics on what my intuition was about that pattern, that because I know it has to do with that's how compression works, is like it only occasionally records a full frame, and then the intervals are like deltas, which is why like there's this like a technique called data moshing. That is how people make a lot of like the glitch videos, where if you just remove one of those keyframes. Yeah, Mycon, I think this is again another case of like Twitch doing exactly what I was hoping Twitch would do, which is like I say some random thing, then somebody who's watching is like, I know more about that, let me explain. It's like, it's great. But yeah, so there's a technique of like making glitch video called data moshing, where you just go in there and just like delete the keyframes out of the sequence, and that makes it like you probably like you see it's like in like streaming video where like something will happen and then like the person will be moving with the texture from the previous scene on top of it, and that's you can intentionally do that to a video, but like you delete the keyframe, and it's neat. Ooh. That seems like a worthwhile endeavor. That's one of those, like, in the way that I live my life, sort of like skimming across the surface of a bunch of different disciplines. Like like I have not ever taken like the fully deep dive to the very bottom of the well around like how codecs and compressions and camera UVC whatever's work, but we're getting there. Aaron, I hope you're noting the Googleable terms here. Okay, so we have theoretically just recorded a session. Let's see how it worked. Oh, fuck! It's not going to be rotated because I had still had the rotation commented out. Let's record another one. It's okay. I won't get those sweet sponsorship deals, but that's okay. The NIH has no swearing policy, so I should be fine. So basically what happened is earlier when I was fiddling around with trying to get the code working and I commented out the rotation, I forgot to comment it back in. So the recordings that were recorded probably worked just fine. Probably. Reveal the file explorer. Interpreter. 12:12, 10:30. My computer's clock is way off. I don't know why. Oh, that was not the recording. Oh. So, because my computer's clock was weird, when I started this, it was saying it was 10, and it's like only 5-ish, and at some point it fixed itself. So the recordings automatically generate a session ID based on the time, but it's the system's time. So these are all the recordings, the folders with the recordings that we've been sort of, every time I like turn it on and turn it off again, it makes a new one of those. And they're out of order because the clock reset while we're doing that thing. So, oh my God, there's so many parts. It's fine. But this was the one we wanted. And it's got synced videos. And the videos are good, probably good. However, they are sideways. But they're also playing at the right. They're playing at the right frame rate, which is really nice. We fixed that problem. And then I dropped the ball. There it goes. Bye. So one little blip right there. So I do know I have many times in the past manually rotated the videos, but I think in the spirit of testing things out, let's do it on recording. And honestly, you're probably not going to get much farther than that because I'm running out of steam. My aspect ratio on the videos? Oh yeah, probably because it's playing on such a big. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. One thing at a time. It's really important, I think. Well, I think that's one of like the main, like when you're doing like one of these big projects that's going to take forever. Yeah, no, totally back on it. And that's what I used to do before. But part of the procedure of this is like automating stuff, and so Aaron has added functionality to this code to do that rotation automatically, because I was using FFmpeg to do the rotation, and it's just obviously you could do it, but in the spirit of making a pipeline, it wants to be automatic. GUIs will be forthcoming. Yes. A big part of the goal of this project is to make this be something that can be used by people who don't have like technical programming background. And what I really want is to have it be kind of like set up as an inroad. So have a GUI, probably based on like sort of hacking apart Blender and making a GUI out of that. And so that way, if you don't know how to code, you don't know how to run things from command line, then you don't have to. You can run it from that GUI. But what I want to do is something kind of akin to how Unity works, where the process of using the GUI exposes the code. Like it's always there. You don't have to use it, but it's always there. Because my hope is that people could see this and say, oh, I want to use that, but I don't know, I'm like not technical. And they use it in the GUI sense, and then in the process of doing that, the way that it's presented sort of like shows them that all that's really happening when you click those buttons is like it's doing something in the code. So my hope is that as a random user uses it for long enough, they just slowly become more comfortable with with how code looks. And obviously that's a lot. There's a lot to that, but that's in the long term. So Layla, to your question, at the moment I'm not really doing anything. We're not really doing anything with GUIs, but because this phase of the project is just like get the dang thing working, but I am committed in my heart to not do the thing that most technical projects do, which is fuck off on the GUI. Programmers hate making GUIs, and engineers always neglect the human element, and people love to pitch to people who are already technically skilled. Yeah. Thanks, Mycon. I appreciate your support. Okay, I'm gonna. I am running out of steam. It has been a long week. It's not even. I was gonna say a long day, but it's been a whole week. Mycon, this one's for you. It's actually for everybody, but I appreciate. What I like about you, Mycon, is I have no idea who you are, but your interest sustains me. Everybody actually, like people hanging out in the chat whose names I recognize. Actually, could some friendly person like copy a link to the Discord in the chat? This is great. This is the nice thing about being a professor is like instead of learning how to like set up macros, I just like ask people to do stuff. Oh, I'm recording. God damn it. Okay. Hide. They do like to lay down on the floor a lot. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get. Let's see if I don't know. I'm just gonna juggle. Who cares? 1, 2, 3, 4, ba ba. Da 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 da. All right. That's all I got. Okay. 690 frames. Nice. Cripes. Hey. Thanks, Hodis. I'm really excited for when we start putting the so anyone who's in the thread who wants to sort of follow along, I do have a Discord. The lab has a Discord somewhat it's a slow roll. It's relatively quiet, but people are in there, and slow burns are good. Slow growth is sustainable. But don't tell capitalism. Yeah, once again, similar sort of vibe here. Nice recording, one little blip right at the end. Also camera 2. This plot looks, again, nice and good. It's actually interesting. I'm noticing that those keyframe frames, which I'm guessing that's what that are. Yeah, I think that's a good it's a good Discord to lurk on, because like it's really low volume, but it does ping you when I start a stream, which I hope doesn't bother people, because Discord gave me the ability to ignore everyone pings. Yeah, it might be. I think I'm guessing it's probably it sends the quit signal, and for whatever reason, camera 2 hears it first. But it's fine. But it looks great, nice and steady, and now let's see if the rotation works, because I realized, ooh, that's actually camera. Oh, Aaron, this actually, I would like to make this consistent, because right now this is showing cam 1 2 3 4, but this is showing cam 0 1 2 3, and pretty much everything else says camera 0 1 2 3. So I think just make that consistent, and I think we should just bite the bullet and have it be have the camera name be the index number into the if you were to make an array, which we do. No, the frame rates are consistent. It's just, I think it's it's interesting, because the only thing that's different in the hardware, and the USB ports, they're right next to each other, so I think they're all on the motherboard, but I don't really know. But they're all using a USB extender, and it's 3 of one kind of extender and 1 of a different. So I wonder if that could be the difference. But I think it's only happening at that very last couple of frames, so that doesn't matter for the recording, for the reconstruction, at least not at this phase of the process. Okay, proceed. And we got that little nice progress bar. Look at it go. Look at that beautiful progress bar. By the way, that rich, the thing that you have to install like in the pipeline, the rich package, is mostly for like, you can make much prettier progress bars. That's why the progress bars in the Open Mocap are like the colored thing. That's like the basic. But there's like, you can do a lot of stuff with the rich. Rich has, you can also you can color code like error messages and stuff like that. Yeah, it's I don't know. Rich is cool. I saw it on Reddit was like, what are the coolest Python packages that are out there? And everyone's like Rich. And I was like, okay. And it's got pretty colors in it, so I like it. Okay. So I think what I'm gonna try to do, all done. 12 / 21 to 12 17 5 305 17 5 305. There we go. Got your raw, got your synced. Are they rotated? Are they rotated? So the answer is partial success. Look at me. Look at me. I'm a monster. I'm like a Oompa Loompa. Is that what I really look like? So Aaron, what this is telling me is that is that you do the I think you're rotating the frame, but you're stuffing it back into the same container. And I think what you should do is what I mean, I don't know. Micon's suggestion. Micon is suggesting using FFmpeg, which is how I did the video rotations, and I think that's the right move. It's like, I think, oh, because you're doing it via OpenCV. Let's all enjoy this. Look at me. Oh man. What if that's what I was? What if that was real life? Yeah, this very thick boy. So yeah, honestly, Aaron, I think you should just pull the rotation stuff out of OpenCV and just generate the videos exactly as you had with no rotation in them, and then once they are rotated. But once they're saved and they're rotated wrong, just like change the file. It's like an FFmpeg call where you just like FFmpeg -I input file name transpose equals 1 output file name, and just rotate them that way. I think that's how I used to do. I can even send you the FFmpeg call because I think I save it. Where would it be? Data? FFmpeg transpose.text. There it is. Maybe it's this Ron, where are you at? Ron TC. Aaron, you like added a profile picture to Discord, which I appreciate, but also like my brain has to remember to look for it because I'm like, he's like, Aaron's like the green default. I appreciate you adding the thing because like I have a lot of people on Discord who are sending me stuff, and I'm just like okay, who's like the yellow default picture and who's the blue default picture? It's like, I appreciate the username. Yeah. Bye, Sean. Yeah, that must be a fun thing. Oh, okay. I am tired, and I'm gonna end my week. But thanks for streaming with me, guys. I wasn't sure how this was gonna go with like the weird laptop and camera tripod, but this was fun. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Layla. Thanks for joining in. We're working on this thing. We're making a lot of progress, and honestly, I think that we're not too far away from like publicly releasing the repository. Potentially alongside instructions on like how to do this yourself. I'm getting right now the phase of the process is like trying to work out the procedure on my end, and also like getting other people in the lab like set up with cameras and whatnot so that people can start recording, because like I don't want to release this until like I think that there's a good chance of success for people who are trying to use it. So I want to kind of I'm gonna hold off on releasing it until it's a little farther along, because as you can see, like it's there's still a few kinks in the system, but we're making a lot of progress, and I think that we're not like, I think that once we start, like people like Trent, yeah, it's internal testing is where we're doing right now, and I think that like right now just like getting it running on my computer works reasonably well, but I think once people like Aaron has been doing a lot of the development, but he hasn't really been doing like full reconstruction stuff. So he and Trent are now working together to try to sort of set things up from their end, and then at that point it will be, you know, numbers greater than 1 people working on the full pipeline, and I think process will happen from there. But yeah, I'm excited. I think this was, you know, there was I wouldn't call it a screaming success, but I think it was a success in that we learned some stuff and debugged some things and made some friends along the way. So I'm gonna end the stream because I'm tired and it's Friday at 6 p.m. and it's dark outside and it's been a long week, y'all. But thanks again. I'm gonna I'll try to pick a time sometime in the next couple weeks to actually like do like a regular stream. I was gonna do it on Thursday, but I'm realizing that things pop up on Thursdays for me a lot. I think Wednesday might be a bit safer. So it might be like Wednesday, I think kind of maybe 4 to 6, like Eastern US time. Or I might just do what I've been doing, which is kind of like pop on whenever I pop on and like save myself the emotional stress of trying to plan ahead. But I appreciate you guys making it over here and join the Discord if you're interested. And have a lovely day. Bye. I don't even really want to do the work of raiding you somewhere, so just go find someone friendly and say hi. So, bye. Yeah, me too, Kylie. Glad you're here.